Hey guys, my name is JoCinda Benjamin, and I am a survivor of gang stalking and being a targeted individual. Let's see, it took me a very long time to finally sit down and come face to face with what's happening around me and what's been going on in my life, my whole life. Um, when I found out I was a victim of gang stalking, by the time I found out, I realized that I didn't realize how long gang stalking was happening to me. Um, Throughout my life, I was always surrounded by narcissists, people who had an issue with seeing my light, people who had an issue with celebrating me, people who came off like they loved me and they really didn't. Um, Parents that just never could really sit still to support me. Um, I could go on and on and on. And for some reason, I always knew I was better than my surroundings. Like I always knew um, more was out there for me, and I deserved more. Um, what I didn't realize with being a targeted individual, why I was being targeted. That was the big question. When I first found out about all the corruption going on around me, the first thing I wanted to do is go after the people that I knew was behind it. And I realized that's where I went wrong because in doing so, that put me in a position where they can, play me like I am mentally unstable and all that stuff. And that's what they do. That's a common thing that they do. They will say that that person has mental health issues, they haven't taken their meds, blah, blah, blah. And I have no mental health issues at all. Um, but that's where I went wrong because I didn't realize that the targeting and the bullying and the gang stalking wasn't about them. It was really about me and me finding my power and knowing my worth and knowing exactly who the heck I am. I was always surrounded by people that, would kind of play me low, play me like I wasn't special, or play me like, what I had to contribute didn't matter, or, I wasn't worthy. But I always knew better. And I realized that this experience, this gang stalking experience, actually saved my life and opened my eyes to all the snakes that have been slithering around me my entire life. When you first find out that you're a victim of gang stalking or being a target individual, you do want to find out who, what, when, where, why, what's going on. What you do, you kind of get dropped into like a twilight zone where you feel like you're in an alternate universe and only you and your bullies know what's going on in that universe, and anyone outside of that universe will just look at you like you're crazy. um, Being gang stalked really is not fun. It's not fun. Am I pushing through it? Yes, but the tactics they use, are not cool. Constantly being hit with energy weapons. For the longest time, I didn't even know I was being hit with energy weapons. Um, I would wake up with headaches. I couldn't sleep. I'm sweating in my sleep, waking up with body aches, pains, my neck, constantly issues with my knees and my elbows and all kind of things. And as I did my research on gang stalking and the tactics they use to kind of confine that individual, I realized, oh, it's energy weapons. Oh, It's just so many tactics that I didn't know. And meanwhile, I'm going to the doctor to get CAT scans on my brain. And like even when I was a little girl, my mom took me several times to the doctor because I would get these piercing headaches as a little girl. And I didn't know what was going on. But in doing my research with gang stalking, I realized that it really happens even before birth. Like they start targeting you and bullying you before you're even born. Like just like God already knows what his plans are for you before you're even born, Satan does too. And Satan knew I had a call on my life. I had a huge call on my life, and I was placed in a family and placed around friends, and everything around me basically was built to not see that calling. Every single person. As I did an investigation, the first thing you do when you're a victim of gang stalking, you think about your life. You think about, and I'm 54. I just turned 54, so I went all the way to the beginning, as far as I can remember, and I just did a deep dive on all the weird things that happened to me throughout my life, from I don't know, neighborhood friends, their parents, um, cheerleading advisors, guidance counselors. I remember when I was in school, I would get pulled out of class, and I remember doing testing, and I remember the guidance counselor always asking me questions, and I always wondered why I was always the only one being pulled out of these classes, um, and not really understanding what the big picture was. And I really don't even think my parents knew that I was being pulled out of class, and you know just all types of things that was going on. It just opened up a whole world of, it's like I became an investigative reporter on my own life. And all the weird things that happened throughout my life, I could finally say, that's why that happened. That's why such and such came into my life. I realized that people, I realized my whole life was a lie. That's probably the one thing, us victims find out, that our whole life was a lie. My friends weren't my friends. My family was always isolating, and I never really felt supported. And if I did, I had to hear about it. Um, Everyone was in my life to either be some type of agent, some type of, I don't know, just everyone just seemed to be an op. And at the time, I didn't understand it. I had friends that would come in my life. We hang out. I'm thinking everything's great. We're like sisters. We have a fallout. I don't hear from them for 2 to 3, 4 years. Then they come back in my life like nothing's happened, and they say, it wasn't you, it was me. And I just noticed like it was an ongoing routine with everyone. Everyone was doing this mental push pull type of game with me. And at that time, I can say, I don't think I love myself enough to walk away. Now I have. But back then, I think I had an attachment type of personality where I would, oh, that's my friend, or we went to college together, or we went to school together, or we used to cheer together. Oh, I just keep in my life. Oh, that's my sister, my bestie. And little did I know they were really in my life as ops, like everyone. Um, I mean, even my college roommate, she was a total nightmare. Like when I look back over my life, I'm like, oh, that's why she was so mean. That's why my friends come and go. That's why my dad doesn't see my light. That's why my sister, we really don't feel like sisters. That's why these teachers are pulling me out of school. Like all of a sudden, I just had a rush of answers. In my whole life, I never got these answers. Like men that, would wanna date me, and then they would break my heart, or just a whole life, just a lie. Now, I could look at it in a positive way or a negative way. It's all about perspective. I could look at it and say, "Oh, woe is me, my life was miserable, you know, I kept having these uphill battles. Um, I realized I was being gang stalked on the job. Like, every time I got to a certain point, something would knock me back down. Um, I endured bullying. When I worked in radio, my supervisors, they would be the type, they'd have me do managerial duties, but then they put their name on the work that I would do and turn it in like it was their work. Just all types of bullying. And when I just really look back over my life, the positive side is I finally got answers to things that were looming over my head. Like, I finally got answers and closures as to why I always stuck out like a sore thumb, or why I wasn't appreciated or accepted, or why life was always so difficult, and why I never really felt accepted. And I was raised in a home with alcoholism, and with parents that really emotionally uh, weren't there for me emotionally. So I was forced to grow up really fast, forced to take care of my mother, which she was a narcissist. My stepfather was a narcissist. Like, I realized my whole encampment, everyone was narcs. And when I was a little girl, no one knew of the word narcissism. Like, we didn't know what narcissism is popular now, but back in the day, we didn't have a term for it. But all I knew is that I was a black sheep, and I stuck out like a sore thumb. And I knew deep inside, no matter how many times people tried to hold me back, that I was destined for greatness. Now, I get older, I go to college, I have a roommate who is like a total nightmare. Now I understand why she was a nightmare. Um, I go on, I have children because I'm not loving myself the way I should. Of course, I get pregnant by two men that weren't even worth the ground I walked on. But when you're in a low vibrational state and you're not loving yourself, you will tend to attract people who aren't worthy. And nonetheless, I push on. I have my children, a boy and a girl. They're a few years apart. And I was a single mom, and I did the best I could do with them. Um, I got pregnant with my daughter um, the last year of college. And then about 4 years later, I got pregnant with my son, two separate dads, but both horrible co-parents. Like, I feel like I probably chose the worst men to ever um, procreate with, but that's neither here nor there. But I realized my point in bringing that up is that I attracted more narcs, people who didn't support me. And I went on, raised my kids the best I could do. And now my daughter, she's a little bit older. You know, I, she was, doing commercials and stuff like that in Charlotte. And, as her career started to blossom, she had her sights on eventually wanting to get to Hollywood. But before we got there, or got here, I should say, because I'm in Hollywood now, um, we did a lot of local stuff. She toured in the musical Annie. And when I look back on that, and even when she danced for the Knicks, had a great time dancing for the Knicks. But while on tour with Annie, as I look back over my life, I understand that there were people on tour that gang stalked us. And at the time, I'm not realizing it. The things that my daughter was celebrated for at the beginning of tour, they seemed to love her and all that good stuff. By the time we got to the middle and end, she was being reprimanded for kicking so high and smiling so big. And now we're having, discussions backstage, and the stage manager is telling me I need to dumb my daughter down, and all this, that, and the third. It was just a whole mess. It made the whole experience um, just a mess. And also on tour, there was an older lady who would always pop out when it was time for us to go and go to dinner or have breakfast or whatever. She just always popped out. And she was on tour with her granddaughter, and her granddaughter was a complete, she might as well have been the bad seed on tour. Total nightmare. And I couldn't understand why, for the life of me, we could not shake these people while we were on tour. Well, now that I know about gang stalking and I reflect back over my life, I realized that, yo, this chick and her granddaughter were really stalking us on tour. Um, while on tour, my stepfather passed away, and I had to leave my daughter with a few adults to chaperone her while I was gone. And during that time, my daughter had just got the new Sidekick phone, and the little girl that was on tour, the little bad seed, I'll just call it a bad seed, she actually stole my daughter's phone. And it was a complete mess because I'm not there. I'm back in Charlotte trying to, be there, because my stepfather passed away. And I get this call that my daughter's phone was stolen, or it was missing at the time. And turns out this little girl actually shows up at my daughter's hotel room, knocks on the door and said, "Do you love me?" And my daughter was like, "Yeah, why?" She goes, "Here's your phone." Turns out this little girl had hid my daughter's phone in a coffee pot. She called herself just playing, but it was a whole to do on set. I mean, on tour. I mean, to the point where the hotel was pulling video in the hallway, like maids was getting involved. Like we were really trying to figure out what happened to this phone. Turns out this little girl had the phone the whole time. So when I look back over my life, I remember traumatic situations like that. And I'm like, God darn it. Joe, y'all been gang stalked the whole time. Now, fast forward, we come off tour. Now my daughter has her sights for Hollywood. Me being the supportive mother that I am, we cross the country July 7th, 2011. We leave, we pack up the car, we leave Charlotte, and we take about 3 days to get to good old Hollywood. Good old Hollywood. This is the land where dreams are made and nightmares are too. This is what I realized. And I thought I was coming to this lovely place to support my daughter's career, which I was. But later on, it comes to my attention that I'm here for something bigger, greater, heavier, darker. And unbeknownst to me, I didn't know that. You got me on that one, God. God tricked me on this one, but it's okay. Because apparently I must be strong enough to handle this mission. We get out here in 2011, we get agents, we get managers. My daughter's auditioning. Everything seems to be fine. Um, we get to know other Hollywood families out here, some from Texas, some from Detroit, some from Atlanta, so forth and so on. You get out here and you just try to make connections and build your LA family or your Hollywood family, because most of us have left our families, in our, you know, towns where we're from. And as time went by, I noticed that the auditions got a little harder for my daughter. Um, I noticed Not that she couldn't do it, but we just went through a heavy streak where she just was not booking at all. And if she did book, it was roles that smaller roles. You got to start somewhere. Um, but I just noticed like a routine of things just really not working out for her. And even down to connecting with friends. And it's very hard when you're a transplant, it's very hard to um, make friends, even as adults, you know, because underneath it all, everyone has this competitive edge. I never had it. I'm a firm believer that what's meant for you is yours. That's it. I was never out to get anyone. If my daughter's going for the same role your daughter's going for, heck, we can coach each other's kids. One of them's gonna get it. Like I'm the type, iron sharpens iron. I'm not the type that, oh, my daughter's got this audition. I don't want to tell you about it because I don't want your kid to get it. Like that. That's never been me. But I noticed over time there was just a lot of fake connections out here. Um, Even with my daughter, people may start off like they want to be friends, and then for some reason, everyone their mask fall, and it just bottom line, we ended up being by ourselves. About a year or so later, my son comes out, and my partner comes out as well, and now we have our family back together, and we're just doing the LA thing. But over time, I noticed a few people that lived in our building. They came off very nice, seemed nice. One particular gentleman, was a background dancer. Um, you'll notice out here, everyone's got their eyes on the prize. So you could be living next door to, I don't know, a stylist, a makeup artist, like a dancer. It doesn't matter. Like it's very typical out here. And there was a few people that my daughter was dating, and a few guys that may have gotten her into marijuana, and all kind of stuff. And I'm just letting her live because by this time she's like 18, she's getting a little older. I'm letting her do her thing. And what I didn't realize was the corruption that was going on right up under my nose as it pertained to my daughter and then later my son. What I didn't realize that was that my children um, were being groomed up under my nose. That guys that were pretending to like my daughter, or pretending like there was a moment there where she wanted to do music, and there were guys that were, hey, I'm a producer, come on in the studio, let's work on this and work on that. And of course I'm letting my daughter feel her way, go ahead and go. And she's running into other people who are like professional accountants to celebrities, um, cooks, and all kind of things. And what I'm realizing now is that all these people that were around my daughter were really there to put her on a road to destruction. Now, at the time, I'm just letting her be free. Have fun. You want to go here? You want to go ahead, do your thing. I'm a mom. Of course, I watch my children, but I was also a very busy mom, a single mom, and I worked a lot. I drove for Uber, I drove for Lyft, I drove for every platform imaginable, just to sustain us while we're out here. And there was even another woman that lived in our building that I realized was a call girl. And she would always invite my daughter to, these boat trips. And, I'm not realizing at the time she's a call girl. She just looks like she's like a big sister to my daughter. Go ahead. You want to go? Go ahead. And now that I look back, I understand that these were all characters in my gang stalking story, that these were all people that I believe were paid to put my daughter in a life of destruction. That's what I believe. Um, even even the guys she dated. There was one from Bermuda. There was another guy who was Asian. Now that I look back, I understand that my children were being groomed and manipulated right up under my nose, and I had no idea. Um, I didn't even realize that there was even a secret society out here. If you would have asked me about this then, you hear all the Hollywood stories and you hear about all the satanic cults, and little did I know, I'd never seen it. If you asked me before, I would have been like, "What are you talking about? I don't know anything about any of that." Like, what? I've never seen it, heard of it. But now I know that the cults are really real. Um, I know that the one I'm speaking of, and possibly the rest of them, because I'm sure there's a whole network around the world. It's not just Hollywood, it's all around the world. Um, I know that they do mind control. I know that they're sex cults. I know that they use witchcraft. I know that they have people who are in high positions that are a part of these secret societies where they look out for each other and they cover each other's tracks when things happen. Um, when this was going on with my children, I was still asleep spiritually. And I will say the last 3 or 4 years, I went through my own spiritual awakening. Um, and what got me there was because my daughter had a mental health crisis. She had a break in 2016. And what I thought was a break, but now I realize it was something else going on. And and then she had another break where she went missing in 2022. And she was gone maybe about 3 days. And I truly thought she was missing. All right. And the reason why I end up going public is because my daughter looks young. She would be a trafficking network's dream. She looks young, but she was of age. And I knew what I thought was mental health issues. Um, with her having, bipolar or being schizoaffective, I was afraid that, oh my goodness, if she's out here, somebody's going to get her. So, and I didn't do it immediately. Like I waited like 2 days and then I was just like, I can't wait anymore. Like to have a child that you believe is missing is a parent's worst nightmare. I wouldn't wish it on a soul. But what I realize now is her going missing, she really wasn't missing. That it was a cover up for an even bigger scheme that was going on around me. Um, I mentioned this before on a video this time last year where I'm just finding out that I am the sole owner of an inheritance that I didn't even know I was getting or was owed to me. But from what I understand, my daughter did, and this secret society did, and this secret, momager group did, and my son did, and everyone did except me. And her going missing was really a distraction to what was really going on. Um, I have reason to believe that she, and I'll say allegedly, just to keep things cute, uh, was manipulated and brainwashed and taken advantage of. And actually, both my children were weaponized against me. Um, I don't have relationships with either one of them right now. Um, I think my children have gotten entrapped in this cult, this secret society. I think they were manipulated. I think they were told lies about their mama. I think they were told things like, you see your mama out here broke. You want to be broke like her? You might want to come over here and join this cult where, we can promise you to be famous, be rich, and you could have all the things that your mama couldn't help you get. And I think my children got entrapped in this cult and blackmailed, and to the point where they couldn't leave and they couldn't even tell their mama that they was involved. And I believe that this cult used witchcraft on my children. Um, and I'm not going to say they were perfect, because I do know that you have to be willing to open yourself up to these devices. Um, that's all the devil wants. You say, yeah, and he jumping in. And all of this was going on behind my back. And when my daughter went missing, so I thought, I had several people reach out to me, message me, DM me, call me, text me. Hey, girl, you need anything? You need anything? I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. We gonna find her. The whole time, these momager friends knew exactly where my daughter was. They knew exactly what was going on. They were all a part of basically thinking they're going to get my money if they were able to take me out on my demise. These are people that actually came to my home, answered my phone, told me to get in the bed, relax, answered my phone, took calls. You need to rest. We got it. We got it. These same momager friends came over and bought me groceries, toilet paper, paper towels, wherever I needed, because I couldn't think as a mother. Okay. They came over to my home. They sat, watched over me while I mourned, wondered where my daughter was. They went so far as to even want to do a search party for 2 days, walking the streets of LA, Studio City, helping me find my daughter. And how about all of them knew where she was the whole time? All of them had a part in this whole scheme and this plot to steal my inheritance. Because what y'all thought, y'all was going to just chop it up while I'm out here doing 10,000 deliveries for Uber Eats, trying to make a living? A lot of these momagers use my services. I'm the proud owner of Momager on Set, where I supply and support showbiz families every which way I can, whether it's expediting work permits, sitting on parents' kids. Um, I drove kids to auditions. I coach. I do it all. I fill in the gap for lots of showbiz families. I'm like an extension. A couple of these momagers, I took their children to set. I picked them up from Santa Clarita. I picked them up from Culver City. I picked them up from, you name it, North Hollywood. And I loved your kids just like they were mine. And y'all had the nerve to sit up in my house and act like you was praying for me and supporting me and utilizing my service, paid me good money. Y'all paid me good money. But that was to cover up, to make it look like you had no part of the corruption of your little secret society that y'all got going on. While y'all sit and laugh at me because my daughter wasn't booking anything substantial, I should say. While your kids were booking up a storm. My question for you is, who did you guys allegedly sacrifice for your children to become stars? That's what I want to know. Well, y'all played in my face. And my throat is shaking because the betrayal and the disrespect that y'all did to me is despicable. The spell work and the manipulation and the love bombing that you did to me and my children is disgusting. You guys lied on me. You inbox. You inbox my followers. You lied to my family. You got my family out here thinking I'm crazy. You all know who you are. And it's probably many, many more for this secret society momager group. I was in my own lane. I accepted the fact that, maybe, just maybe, I made a mistake and brought my daughter to Hollywood. I started to believe the things that my family would say. Oh, you gonna get that girl out there and get her driven crazy. And I was afraid of looking like a failure. Whole time there's a secret society working behind the scenes, putting obstacles in my life to destroy and ruin everything about me, head to toe. I've had to move 3 times. Right now, we're living with a friend. I don't even have a connection with my children, but I bet y'all do. I bet y'all know where my children are. I bet you know the spell work you did on my babies to manipulate them against me so they won't be broke like they mama. And because my children were broken down and wanted more out of life, you lied to them, you manipulated them, you pigeonholed my daughter into stealing my inheritance so she would take the blame for it. You got my daughter in a false marriage with a man who's 30 years older than her, who is a Hollywood celebrity barber, who used to cut my son's hair, who I used to give clients to. I would recommend clients to him. Little I know, y'all all witches and warlocks out here. All y'all. I'm over here struggling, minding my business, living in one room with my kids, trying to survive, watching all of you win. Get your little NAACP awards and take your vacations and trips and do your thing. Walk the carpets with your kids, all this stuff. And I'm sitting here wondering, what did I do wrong as a parent? Where did I go wrong as a momager? Did I not do something right? What did I do wrong? Turns out I didn't do a damn thing wrong. I did everything right. I did everything right. I was a loving friend. I was a loving mom. I supported my kids just like y'all supported yours. The only difference is I didn't sign up for this secret society Hollywood bullshit y'all got going on. I didn't even know nothing about it. I'm over here thinking I'm doing things wrong. Whole time, y'all getting blessed because y'all part of a damn elite group. And I'm not gonna say no names. I'm not gonna say no names. I'm gonna let God and the authorities say your names. The way y'all slandered me, the way y'all inboxed and talked about me to my clients that I built from the ground up, built my company from the ground up by myself. I ain't getting no help from none of y'all. I loved on your kids. I protected your kids. I took your kids to and from auditions. Y'all slandered me to all my Facebook friends. This is going way back. This secret society actually been targeting me since I was a little girl. That's what I know now. And in my last video, I mentioned the wonderful world of tarot. And people might say, oh, tarot's demonic, this, that, and the other. Well, guess what? The intuitive society, or intuitive world, I should say, know all about what y'all doing. And just like y'all stole my inheritance, y'all out here stealing everybody's inheritances and unaliving and sacrificing people. And what I said in my last video, I'm a little mad at myself because I went live a little too soon because I, at the time, didn't know all the players involved. 1 year later, I know everyone involved, every last one of you. People smiling in my face, texting me, inboxing me, how's your daughter? How's your beautiful daughter? How's your beautiful daughter? You know exactly how my beautiful daughter is. All of you are a part of that group, laughing at me, mocking me, watching me on camera, GPS tracking me. I look up in the sky, I got at least 25 drones over my head watching me. The next door neighbor got an energy weapon blowing my damn head up every day, every night. It's off now because I guess y'all want to hear what I got to say. I can't sleep. Very same moms I'm crying to. Have you heard from Jada? Have you heard from the? And I'm like, no. Whole time you know where my daughter is. You all a part of the scheme to steal my inheritance because y'all thought y'all was gonna win off my demise. From what I understand, my college roommate want blood. Oh, do you? Oh, that's what the tarot community's been telling me. And y'all know the tarot community is on y'all, on your necks. That's why y'all been shadow banning their channels and blocking their revenue. And you're probably going to try to shadow ban this video as well. But it's okay. God sees all. And don't even get me started in how my granddaughter was born and immediately placed in the system. And here she has a totally fine grandmother alive. How did she get in the system so fast? What connections do you have? Secret society, sex cult, whatever, however y'all call yourselves, church, whatever y'all are. What connections do you have with DCFS, CPS, all the fictitious files, um, 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 false reports filed on me? I ain't gonna say no names. I'm not gonna even bring up the politicians, the dirty probate lawyers, the police officers, my leasing manager. There's so many people involved in this cover up. Everybody thought they was gonna eat off my back while you manipulate and drag my children into this. And no, they weren't perfect, but at the same time, y'all know what you was doing. And then on the front side with your happy-go-lucky faces while all your kids go to USC with multiple degrees, you're gonna say, you're gonna ask me, how's your daughter doing? How's everything going? Well, guess what? I've had my spiritual awakening and I'm wide awake. And I know what my divine mission is. And my divine mission is to take down this secret society. That's what my mission is. That's what God put me on game. That's why the betrayals were so hard and heavy and disrespectful to me. Very painful. Holidays going by, I can't spend time with my children. I can't even have access. I can't even get my grandchild. I'm only allowed to see her for an hour and 30 minutes a week. And from what I understand, y'all got a hand in getting that my granddaughter to this foster family. Oh yeah, I know everyone involved. The tarot community been reading on this corruption for 3 years. I don't care. You can call me crazy. I don't care. How about this? The three-letter organizations already know about the tarot community. Matter of fact, they've got software where they can cross-reference common common subjects. They already know. Everyone investigating this already knows the players involved. Everybody. The nonprofit organization that's supposed to be advocating for child performers who tried to play me like I'm crazy on their post, offering mental health numbers to me. Let's talk about what you have going on behind your nonprofit organization. Embezzlement, sacrificing people, animal sacrifice. I can go on and on and on. See, the people who speak out are always labeled crazy until the truth comes out. Then we become the heroes. I'm very sharp and I know exactly what's going on around me. And I've been blessed with spiritual gifts. And yes, I get downloads now. And with my spiritual eyes, I can see right through each and every one of you. And I got to give it to God. He didn't drop it all on me at one time. He spoon fed the trauma to me so I could digest it so that I wouldn't lose it. All my family that turned their backs on me. My stepfather, I came to him and I asked him for $15,000 because I knew we were about to lose our apartment. Mind you, this secret society is all behind why I'm losing my third apartment. And I went to my stepdad and I said, Dad, I need 15K. My granddaughter's in the system. We need to show stability. I need help. I went to my sister. I told her whole story. I thought she would be like, okay, Joe, we'll figure it out. She failed me. And when I asked my dad for money, he tells me, oh, Joe, you'll work it out. You need to grow up. So now we're forced to live with a friend until we can get back on our feet. But see, that's the goal. That's what these secret societies do. They target divine beings and destroy their lives. My vehicle was tampered with. I don't have a car anymore. My clients have slowed down. Thank you, Lord, for the ones that do still use my services. Shout out to the faithful clients that still text me for service. I appreciate you so much. You guys got my children entrapped in this organization, and I know you do. And law enforcement does too. And all of you guys played in my face for years, even my hometown friends. Now I know why some of y'all didn't show up when my mom passed away. I get it now. Everybody was like paid, got money under the table off of my back. Well, I hope y'all all made a lot of money. Everybody. Every single one of you. I don't even have to say any names. You know who you are. Matter of fact, if you text me and I don't respond, that's why. If I've deleted you off social media, that's why. I know you're one of them. Inboxing me, how's your daughter doing? How's your beautiful daughter doing? Y'all played in my face for years. I was nothing but kind to all of you. Even when you were my enemy, even when I knew, damn, I shouldn't trust this lady. And I said, you know what, damn, we all grown, man. Forget it. Let it go. It just wasn't enough that your kids were booking and making all this money. Y'all just had to even try to take my damn company too. Mock my company, mock what I do, make fun of me, watch me on camera. Got all these damn gang stalking tactics going on every time I leave. This gang stalking stuff is out of this world. See, in my situation, I at least know who it is and what's going on. Okay. But it's thousands of people out here that are being gang stalked and they don't even know why. They don't know the faces behind it. There are people out here who are divine beings that's supposed to be doing that they're on a mission to serve God. And Satan is out here trying to stop it. That's what the gang stalking is all about. I knew my mission was big when I looked up in the sky and counted 25 drones all over my head. People following me in my car, tampering my car. My car is gone now. I have no car. Tampering in my mail, stealing my identity, committing fraud in my name, having all these private court cases and all this stuff. I still don't even know who left me the inheritance and how much it is. I don't know. But I do know that y'all pigeonholed my daughter to steal it so she would take the blame for it. I do know that. Thanks to the wonderful world of tarot. And y'all can call it crazy all you want to. I don't care. It's my truth. And you know they telling the truth. That's why y'all trying to ban these channels. And you blocking these channels from getting their money. And you slowing down their viewership. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. This has been a nightmare. But it's a nightmare that God put me up for. I didn't realize it. I didn't realize that I was the chosen one, selected to take down this society. And there's others around the world that are fighting the fight just like me. I can't sleep. Got these microwave energy weapons constantly tapping my brain. People running me off the road when I had a car. Then you're in cahoots with my mechanic. It's a whole thing. What I'm listing is what people like me around the world is going through. Everybody around the world that are divine beings here to do God's work. Satan and his kids been after us the whole time. And while y'all been watching me on your cameras, laughing at me, just laughing. People that I was good to. My hometown friends. You know, I'm not a perfect person, but I know I was a good friend. I was a very good friend. I would have never done this to any of you. And all the people that were, all my friends and family that were inbox, and y'all lied on me to so many people. Not one of you, not one person text me, call me to say, Joe, I heard this about you. Is it true? No one gave me grace. Not one person. Everybody jumped on this bandwagon to make me look bad in hopes of getting a piece of my inheritance. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. I ask God all the time, Lord, when is it gonna be over? I'm tired of them shooting me upside my head with these damn microwave. I'm tired. And I don't even want to get into the witchcraft. Well, no, let me do get into the witchcraft. Witchcraft is real. These cults use a combination of being in power, witchcraft, MK Ultra, you name it. It's a combination. They do this no touch torture campaign bullshit. They do light campaigns every time I'm out walking my dog. There's lights flashing, people blowing horns. Because we're good people? Because our light intimidates your demons? Because you're a fallen angel? Because you don't want to do right? So it's easy for you just to steal, kill, and destroy. Well, it's over. Everything's coming to light. All masks are coming down. I don't even have to say no names. I went wrong. That's where I went wrong the last time. Because when stuff like this happens, you be so nervous, you just want to cry for help, and you just, my girl Stephanie the Seeker, that's a wonderful channel. If I watched her videos first, I probably wouldn't have went live the last time, but I knew what I was saying was true, so I did it fearless, but I would have done it a little different. But it's okay. God got me, and I am protected, and I am chosen. That's why your spell works. Your spell work don't work. I don't care how many times you poison me. I ain't going nowhere till I fulfill this mission, until God says it's time for me to go. I know about the $1 million hit. I know about the forged documents. I know who my copycat is. I know about the fraudulent power of attorney. I know about the false reports to CPS, the energy weapons we talked about. You even shoot them at me while I'm driving. I know you tried to pay our roommate to get us kicked out of where we're living now. I know all my landlords were involved, every apartment complex we ever lived at. I know about the secret court cases behind my back. And I know about the group of momagers that thought they were so cute. Y'all thought y'all was so cute. Well, let's see how cute everyone is when you get exposed. The same embarrassment you wanted for me will be for you. Vengeance is God's. I don't have to do a thing but sit here and be myself, my authentic self. That's what demonic people can't stand. We get to live in our truth. You guys have to live in darkness. All that death magic y'all sent out, guess what? It ain't get me. Y'all know what it do. If it don't hit me, it's gonna hit somebody else. You might want to ask God for forgiveness. That's what you might want to do. But all this darkness is coming down. All these secret societies, all this manipulation, all this fraudulent activity, stealing inheritances, got everybody out here. It's not just me fighting for my granddaughter. It's other chosen ones out here fighting for their kids, fighting for a place to live. They're homeless. That's what y'all want. Y'all want us homeless, broke, busted, disgusted. You know why? Because you don't want us in our power, in our peace to speak the truth. And if I have to live my life speaking the truth, then that's just what it is. The darkness is done. It's over. The corruption is done. It's over. All mask off. The shame and torment you put me through, you will get put through. And that's all I have to say about it. Thank you for watching.